Howdy there, pipe pals. I'm back. Had a phone call from an old friend. So I needed to take that phone call. So that's why I took a little bit of a hiatus there. Well, I'm back with my July video. And so tonight, I'm smoking this delicious McBaron's mixture, and it's a Scottish mixture, and I got to tell you, I really love this. Wonderful, delicious. Just wow. I would say this is an absolutely friendly pipe tobacco. So you're looking for a good time, pals, gals. Can't go wrong with McBaron's. It's very, very delicious. Flavorful, rich, without being too heavy. It's a cool smoke, too. So I'm smoking this kind of, I would call my latest acquisition, my last Dunhill that I got 2 years ago when I came to Tahoe, and I went down to Reno to the now defunct, sad to say, Tinderbox. And I think I told the story about this Dunhill. And I think this is only 170, maybe close to 100, maybe $200 tops. And those of you who know Dunhills know that probably was an error, sad to say, on the part of whoever was, pricing the pipes, and this was a brand new one. So I buying lots of Dunhills, mostly estate Dunhills. I have to say that some of my Dunhills, with a couple of rare exceptions, were over $300 as an estate pipe. I know. So when I saw this marked the way it was, I didn't really question it, other than just saying, "Is that a Dunhill?" Yeah, that's what it is. And I said, I might take that, And she is a good girl, good smoker. Okay, well, I am here because I've been some ideas and some concerns that I have, pipe pals and gals, in the pipe smoking world. No, actually, not even pipe smoking world. It's the world in general. This is going to be a video that's going to be challenging for some of you. I'm not here to probably win friends and influence people, but I'm not here to really make enemies either. But I'm going to say some things that are going to be challenging to some of you, and maybe a few of you might take umbrage with what I'm going to talk about. But I think between pipe friends, we can have those kind of thorny discussions from time to time. I'm getting a little message on my phone there. I'll talk to you. I'll send you a text in a little bit. Before I started this video, I shared with a friend. I said, "Hey, guess who I just got through talking to?" So they're probably wondering, what did they say? What did they say? So, and you know who you are if you're watching. Yes. But anyway, that might serve as a nice little segue into what I want to talk about. Many of you probably remember this.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives we have created for the first time in all history. A garden of pure ideology where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of being contradictory one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
I'm going to play it as we talk. This absolutely amazing Apple commercial entitled 1984, which I think actually aired in 1984. And it was all about the new Macintosh computer. And if you look at the cinematography, and I believe that Steve Jobs really just, talk about knocking it out of the ballpark. He really did. I don't know if he actually won it. I know commercials get awards. I'm sure he got awards for this, and rightly so. He just absolutely, that was one of the most phenomenal TV commercials, even to this day. It still is one of those, probably where you were at when you saw it for the first time. Or if all you have to do is see it once and you won't ever forget it. It's just one of those powerful types of commercials. But the problem is that as I look at that, I kind of question, are we not in a totalitarian kind of slippery slope? See, which one of these do I want to tackle first? Well, let's kind of go with the more kind of the darker history, I guess. Well, they're both concerning. But okay, I saw this video about, I don't know, it was one of these town school board meetings, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to just kind of play it, maybe put it right here, guess, let it play.
In schools presented unindexed statistics that have no reflection on Pennsbury.
You know what? I'm going to stop you there. We're not going to tolerate misrepresentation of facts around equity. So that's irrelevant, and you can stop.
In your opinion?
No, you can stop, Mr. Daly. You're done.
You sure you want to do that to Mr.
Yes,
Ramuso?
I do.
All right, we'll see you in court, sir. Just a reminder, you didn't need an equity.
I said you're done.
You didn't need an equity.
I said you're done. Mr. Daly, sit down.
Nigerian immigrants excel to the top of the academic socioeconomic ladder of success. Or
All right. We're just, you're getting into irrelevant things. We're just going to stop you there. You're done.
Who made you the king
You're
of this
done.
board?
You're done. You're done. We're not going to take it, that is irrelevant.
That's important because it breaks.
You're done, Mr.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
done.
you are, Mr.
No,
Marshall.
I'm
You're
not
done. You are done.
I will sue you as well.
You're done.
No, I'm not.
You're done.
What? Based on what?
Board Policy 903. You are
What
now
is it?
being disruptive and disorderly. You're done.
You're the one.
You're done.
Yeah. You know what?
You're finished.
You can count on being sued. I'm going to sue you.
So we're going to build a multi-million-dollar program for the 8% that are unhappy. I'll bring the 8% in here, let them meet with
All right. You're done. You're done. We're not going through this again, Mr. Abrams. That is not what the equity program is about, and we're not going to sit here and listen to you. You're done. You're done. You're done.
Honestly, after what you did to the last two, I think you are.
You're done. You've already violated the board policy. According to the policy, your public comment has been terminated.
Let it play, talk about it as it plays. But to hear the person, you don't see them, they're off camera, but they're yelling at the person, telling them, you're done, you're done, you're done. Listen to that, right? Okay. Well, that reminded me of another period of history. And let me play that clip for you now.
Wie wichtig wohl das Amt des Zivilanwalts da gewesen sein muss, das Sie gehabt haben, dass Sie nicht mal Anwalt, nicht mal Soldat geworden sind mit dem Alter. Und dann von da sind Sie dienstverpflichtet worden. Spricht ja auch für Ihre Haltung, dass Sie erst gewartet haben, bis man Sie dienstverpflichtete. Feines Früchtchen. Ja, feines Früchtchen. Sie haben gewartet, bis man Sie dienstverpflichtete. Und zwar, wo sind Sie hingegangen? Chemische Erzeugung, haben keine Ahnung von Chemie. Werden Sie lieber eine Knarre in die Hand genommen, wäre ich auf dumme Gedanken gekommen. Aber natürlich, Sie haben ja bestätigt, dass Sie KVer sind. Na also, und werden Sie hier nicht unverschämt. Mit Ihnen wären wir fertig, Firma. Sie sind nicht berufen, hier Sie ein Urteil anzumaßen, wo Sie nur dazu da sind, sich auf die Äußerung, ob Sie Verräter am nationalsozialistischen Großdeutschen Reich und damit an unserem deutschen Volk sind, darüber zu äußern, so wie es Ihnen gebührt. Lassen Sie Ihre dummen Trugschlüsse, lassen Sie Ihr Jesuitentum weg.
Gedacht an die vielen Morde.
Morde?
Die in Finnland und im Ausland passiert.
Sie sind ja ein schäbiger Lump. Brechen Sie unter der Gemeinheit. Ja oder nein? Zerbrechen Sie darunter?
Herr Präsident, auf meinem
Ja oder nein auf eine klare Antwort.
Nein.
Nein, Sie können auch nicht mehr zerbrechen. Denn Sie sind ja nur noch ein Häufchen Elend, das vor sich keine Achtung mehr hat.
These were, I guess, called the show trials, right after Hitler had been the attempted assassination at the Wolf's Lair, and the perpetrators were all found. I guess Schlaffenberg was executed before the trials. He got off easy, I guess. But these other poor suckers, they were made, they were ridiculed, they were mocked, they were harassed, they were belittled, they were just it was horrible. And to me, the person yelling and screaming at this school board, at this person who's trying to object, and they're trying to do it in a respectful manner, nope, you're done, reminded me of this other incident in history where basically, they're, you will not speak, you will be quiet, you will be silent. We're quickly becoming the totalitarian kind of a country now. When I look at the Apple video, I see the people with the masks on, and they're all in lockstep. Well, we're kind of, I don't know if we're going to come through it or not. I still see people wearing the mask. And again, let me just say this. I know some of you are in the medical business. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. If you decide you want to get the jab, that's on you. I personally have, I have 4 criteria that I have to say that are guiding my decision whether or not to get the jab or not. The first one is, and I have to say this is the kind of the showstopper for me. Number 1 is, and that is, they were developed and produced using the stem cell lines of aborted babies. And I know that unfortunately the bishops, or some bishops, have kind of given a little wink and a nod saying it's okay anyway. Let me ask you this. Let's say we found out that the virus, or the vaccine, was procured or created from the cells of Holocaust victims. They went to the mass graves and they found that these certain cadavers that people were killed in the Holocaust in the concentration camps, they still had some kind of a whatever that could be harvested, and we can use it now to make a vaccine. How many people would think that would be ethical? I don't think very many people would. So The first one is it's unethical. The second one is we do not know what the long-range side effects are going to be. And right now we're seeing a lot of side effects that are very questionable. Some of them are even deadly. But you don't want to hear about that. No, you can't talk about that. So, ethical, effective, or efficacy. The third one is a personal one. I have bad reactions to vaccines. Vaccines are compounds. You know, yeah, you get the antigen that's supposed to do its magic to fight off whatever the virus is, but it's in a compound, and those compounds are held together by things that are very carcinogenic. You know, mercury and aluminium salts and formaldehyde and God knows what else. And I know that I had the shingles vaccine, the newest one, 3 years ago, and it almost crippled me. You know, and I don't want to. Do I have clinical proof for that? Not necessarily, but I have my own personal experience, and it just messed up my lower back. And then the fourth one, and we're starting to see this now, is coercion. If you're being coerced into taking something, no, that's wrong. You know, so those are the 4 criteria that I've been using to say, should I get this vaccine? And my answer so far is thank you, but no thank you. Actually, not even thank you, but hell no. No way. Okay? So we see our society and our country going down this rather dark, slippery slope. I'm going to say some things to some people that I know that, and I consider them friends, but I'm going to challenge them. And we saw this come up the other day. They've since taken it down. But the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir basically put out a cute little video saying, "We're coming for your children."
To begin with, this is the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus, as they're called. And they've apparently been around for a long time. This is a video they put out on YouTube. It's titled "A Message from the Gay Community." And anyway, here's the message. Let's listen.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
Shite. There you go. That is ultimately the goal. Now, we also have, okay, we'll play this clip for you real quick too, because then the song goes on. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you. But I think the creepiest part of the whole song, you probably thought that it couldn't get creepier than that. Well, it does. Here you go.
We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them.
Well, that's definitely shite.
Oh, nothing weird about that. A bunch of grown men saying, "We're coming for your children." What else do you need to know? They've put it in song. They're singing it to you. "We're coming for your children." Yep, we are.
And I'm sorry, but that's wrong. That's wrong. It's wrong to persecute poor old Jack Phillips of Masterpiece Cake Shop every year with a new lawsuit. That's wrong. That's harassment. Dear friends, if you happen to be of the gay persuasion, you know, some of you know, not everybody's going to agree with you. Just like if you're a Democrat or a Republican, no one's going to always agree with you. And that's the world we live in. Not everybody is going to be okay with gay. You know, they may not hate you or try to persecute you, but they'll say, I'm sorry, your lifestyle it's your lifestyle, but according to my faith, it's not right, okay? Doesn't mean I'm going to hate you and I'm going to ostracize you and I'm going to, burn a cross in front of your lawn. No, probably not. But at the same time, I have beliefs based on the scriptures, based on the teachings of the church, based on the teachings of the saints, based on, 2,000 years of church history that say this is not the right way to go. Now, there's a movement, believe it or not, of called, I guess they're former people who were in the gay lifestyle, and they're now coming out with their video testimonies. And one of them is a quite notable one named Milo Yiannopoulos. And I'm going to put a link down to his video. And, he has a very honest, thought-provoking, maybe challenging to some, video about coming out of the gay lifestyle.
So let me ask you, for the viewers, from your perspective, talk to me for a little bit. Talk to us a little about the psychology of the same-sex attracted mind from younger times. I mean, we don't have to go into a trauma per se, but what is different between the two? Because you'll hear between the so-called straight mind and the gay mind. What's different?
I think you have to talk about trauma in general terms without being very specific about anybody, because science is always on this endless quest to catch up with Catholicism. So there's endless, and sooner or later they kind of fall in line.
Right.
It seems as though some people are born with a predisposition toward or a weakness for something, but we're really primarily talking about early childhood experiences that can indeed, in fact, make you gay. Born this way is a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie designed to keep you where you are and to damn you in the world hereafter. It's a lie. When these things happen in youth, and really it's about fatherhood, having present male role models to whom you aspire and with whom you have an authentic and mutually respectful relationship. Somebody who can teach you how to go from a boy to a man. Girls basically do okay without dads, and they can do okay without moms. Boys can even survive without moms, but boys cannot survive without fathers. And society cannot survive without men. And so this is all intricately related to the things that have been, destroying this country for generations, and all of the West, after the Second World War, the rise of feminism, crisis in masculinity, all this stuff that you hear people banging on endlessly about. Well, don't be bored about it at home. Listen, because this is the key to understanding the downfall of Western civilization. Men who don't feel the self-confidence or the worth or the dignity to just say, honey, I love you, but no. Having a man-child for a father, somebody who is biologically capable of reproduction, but not morally or spiritually capable of guiding a boy into manhood because he hasn't gone on that journey himself. Mm-hmm. That's how you create homosexuals. Plus, child sex abuse and all the rest of it. It's all in the pot together, but it's all part of the same thing. It's disordered, broken, damaged, stunted older men visiting their own trauma and crisis and dramas and spiritual shortcomings on young, vulnerable people who cannot defend themselves against it.
Right.
And repeating this cycle of abuse.
And just like, okay, I think it's wrong when we try to say that, it's like almost like they want to literally, not everybody. I know that, don't want to broad brush everybody, but there is unfortunately a militant sector of the LGBTQRSTUV folks who literally would like to take down this emblem and replace it with this emblem. They really have this idea that they don't want to be in America anymore. They want to be, I don't know if they want to call it gay land or rainbow land or whatever. But let me just say this. If it wasn't for this emblem, you wouldn't be able to fly this one now. America affords people the opportunity to live their lives as long as they do it peacefully and respectfully and not coerce other people. You know, a lot of people would say, well, I don't want Christians to tell me how to live. Okay, fine. Well, guess what? Christians don't want people of the LGBT persuasion to try to force their ideology and their belief system on us. You know, it's called live and let live. Okay. Now, that being said, again, going back to Milo Yiannopoulos and other former people who were in the gay lifestyle, they're coming out and saying, hey, I'm leaving that. Now, some people go, well, you can't make a gay person straight. When they're not really saying that. You know, that's why you need to really, I know it's challenging for some. Again, just all I'm saying is listen. You know, again, you don't have to agree. You don't have to convert. You don't have to change. I'm just saying it's another perspective. And America has always been the land of a multiplicity of viewpoints. But right now, because we're going down that slippery slope back into 1984, you're only allowed to have one perspective now, almost. You can't talk about the critical race theory. Nope, can't talk about that. No, shut up. Be quiet. You're done. You're done. You're done. Can't do that. Nope, can't challenge anybody. Can't come up with a differing opinion. God help you. Can't say that, hey, you know, guess what? If you're unhappy homosexual, and you're striving, you know, kind of, you know, and maybe you're okay. It's just like being an alcoholic or a drug addict. Again, when I was an active alcoholic, and I am an alcoholic, well, you know. Anyway, when you're in your cups, when you're in your drugs, the last thing you want to hear is anything to do with sobriety, okay, and getting clean and sober. That's the last thing you want to hear about. Trust me. Been there, done that, got the coffee cup, got the t-shirt, and the video. But the thing is that deep down inside, when you're all alone, when your life is crumbling around you and you're going, this isn't working. But you can't say anything because you're supposed to be a happy drunk. You're supposed to be a happy user because it's all good, right? You know, living the dream, baby. But thank God there is AA. Thank God there are 12-step groups out there. And there are people that can help you find a new way of life. If you've got to a point where you're saying, you know what, honestly, this isn't working for me. And again, it's not about quote unquote trying to make a gay person straight or whatever. It's trying to help them find, I think, wholeness. You know, it's like, okay, this isn't working either. Indulging our appetites, whatever they are, you know, to the extreme just does not work. You will reap and rue the day. You will reap what you sow, and you will rue the day that you'll when you look around at all the debris from all the fallout, you'll say, "There's got to be a better way. Help me." And so, if a person, let's say they are a gay person, and they want to investigate coming out of a gay lifestyle instead of making it illegal, which they're trying to do now, pretty much you can't say anything against that. Nope, that's wrong. That's bad. But what about those persons that are struggling and they want an alternative lifestyle? You know, they hear about other people. What? This person was kind of like me, and now they're not like me. They're doing different things now, and what's going on with that? I want to know more about that. For those of you who love the science fiction genre, I just watched. By the way, I just watched. Almost watched most of it. The new Black Widow, Dark Widow, Scarlett Johansson movie. It's on Disney Plus, so if you've got Disney Plus subscription, you can download the movie and watch it. It wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, it kind of had a lot more of the feminist kind of persuasion, you know, propaganda. Not as heavy as other, like I guess Captain Marvel and some of the other movies and TV shows, but it was enough to where it was like, you know what, if they're going to preach to me one more time, I'm just going to turn it off. And now I got to say, I watched 3/4 of it. I'm going to watch the last quarter a little bit later after I make this video, but I was running late and I got the phone call from my friend and I just got to, you know, it's like I got to prioritize. So anyway, so I was watching that movie and then got the phone call and it was, anyway, so. But the first 2/3 of it weren't bad. Okay, so if you're wondering, you know, is that a movie that I might want to watch? Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. If you've ever seen Killing Eve. It was a TV show that came out a couple of years ago. Interesting TV show. Again, very, very feminist, I have to say, you know. But had some kind of quirky humor in it, which kind of made it like, okay, well, this is still interesting. And then they had this gal, she was like an assassin, and she would off these people in these different unique ways, and some of them were kind of really interesting. You kind of go, oh, that's an interesting way to kill somebody. Anyway, but it has elements of that in it, and so you'd have to, if you know Killing Eve TV show, a lot of, I think they kind of, in some ways, there's even a few scenes where I go, wait a minute, I think I've seen that scene before in that TV show. So anyway, I digress. But remember the old Star Trek one where I think it was Star Trek IV, The Journey Home, and apparently Earth is going to be destroyed by this alien that's sending out these pulses, and Earth people can't figure out what the pulses mean. And then they find out that the only creatures on Earth that could ever have interpreted these messages were whales. And of course, we got rid of all the whales, you know, for whatever reason. The whales were all extinct because we got rid of them all. And so now, when the message comes, we can't interpret it because there are no more whales. There be whales here, Captain. Anyway, transparent aluminum is a real thing. Okay, just saying. Thank you, Mr. Scott. But anyway, so I think it's the same thing with, say, 12-step recovery things. You know, even if you don't like the message, well, don't be so selfish. Maybe there are other people that do like that message, and for them, that might be something that's going to help them, okay? So that's all I wanted to say about that, because I know sometimes people, you know, we've told, well, conversion therapy is bad and it's wrong and you shouldn't tolerate it. You know, shut up, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. You can't say that. So anyway, I think that that's wrong. I think telling other people's opinions, even if they disagree with you and maybe your philosophy of life. I mean, how many people out there hate Catholics? I hear they're burning down Catholic churches in Canada. You know, maybe we need to think about building a wall, not on the southern border, but on the northern border. I don't want Canada politics and their socialism coming down here. Man, that's scary stuff. So anyway, I just think that this intolerance thing has gone all the way to the left. You know, if you don't wear a mask, you're a bad person. If you don't get the vaccine, you're a bad person. And we're going to come and get you. We're going to make you. You know, if you don't like critical race theory, then you need to shut up. If you don't like, gender theory, then you need to shut up. And we're coming for you, Jack Phillips. You and your little cake, too. That's wrong. That is wrong. Again, if you're on the other side of that, just think how you'd feel if somebody finally came to you and said, okay, you can't be that anywhere. Nope, we're not going to let you. We're going to put you in a concentration camp. Yep. So I don't want to see this country do that. And I believe, as imperfect as America is, and it is, our history has not always been the best. And yes, we're guilty of crimes. But the thing is that if you look around, you and me and everybody around us, we all have the same opportunities to live the life that we want to live. Now, does that mean everybody's going to applaud us and pat us on the back and say, oh, I just am so proud of you? Probably not. There might even people saying, you know what? I think your lifestyle is kind of repulsive. You know, I could have people tell me about the Catholic Church. You know, there are things that I find out sometimes and I shudder. I'm ashamed. You know, does that mean all Catholics are bad? Does that mean all priests are bad? No. But certainly some have done some really ugly, despicable things. And I'd like to, in my weaker moments, yeah, but I'd like to just let them have it. Boy, you betcha. You betcha. Because they make they hurt people's faith. They hurt. They do. It's incalculable the harm that these people have done. Not just to the victims. Yeah, those are the actual victims. There's like levels of victimhood, I guess. You know, you have the actual innocent ones who have been molested physically, accosted, you know, abused. But you have a whole bunch of collateral victims. I was just talking to this friend of mine, and one of the things that we both agreed on is that after 2000, and was it just 2 years ago when all the names came out, it wasn't just the victims and the number of the victims, but then they put actual priest abuser names out there and married them up with the victims. That was absolutely devastating. And as a result, I don't even know how, you know, we can even recover. It's, you know, it's it's not funny. No, I'm not laughing funny, ha-ha. I'm laughing like, I feel like I'm on the Titanic. In fact, I actually told my bishop that after that grand jury report came out with all the names. I said, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm on a deckhand on the Titanic. I don't know what to do. And but the thing is that we've got a world that's going crazy. The world wants to blame anybody and everybody and anything they can. You know, one of the things about World War II and even the Korean War, and I guess to some extent Vietnam, although Vietnam was a little bit more kind of, you know, when you have a volunteer military, or you have a real crusade like World War II, people are willing to say, okay, I saw and did things that I wish I hadn't seen and did, okay? And they kind of kept it, you know, there was, the old story was, yeah, Dad was in the war, or Grandpa was in the war, but they never talk about it. And I think there was a reason for that. Because when you share those kind of raw, ugly experiences of evil, it's going to have an effect. You can't unhear it. You can't unsee it. It bruises a person's soul. You know, there was a time when there was kind of a thing called, I guess, decorum. You know, there were things that you just didn't talk about in public because of the sensitive nature. Now everything's out there for everybody to see. And that damages a person's psyche and their soul. You know? It's like, you know, people that are police officers and doctors and nurses and EMTs, they see some pretty ugly things. And they'll sometimes say, I wish I hadn't seen that, or you don't want to see that, you know, you don't want to see that. And you don't. And there are things in our society today that there's just no holes barred. There's no sense of decorum. There's no sense of civility or sensitivity to a certain subject. You know, now you probably say, well, that fostered all the secrecy and that just perpetuated everything. Well, maybe on one hand it did. What perpetuated the problem was this corrupt infrastructure that we have in society and even in the church. And unfortunately, when you try to expose it, you know, you get into trouble. You know, just look at our this wonderful priest named Father James Altman, who, as of today, has basically been stripped of his priesthood. I mean, he's still a priest technically, but his bishop pretty much fired him because he was saying things that, you know, to be honest, he's a whistleblower, and whistleblowers pretty much get rolled over. You know, they get hurt bad. but somebody has to say something. Now, the only good thing that can come of this is a total house cleaning. And the thing is that I think, whether it's in the church or in our political sphere, hopefully people will not, turn a blind eye or a deaf ear and say, hey, this was wrong. This was wrong. This should never have happened. We need to hold those people that perpetrated these things, we need to hold their feet to the fire. We need to hold them accountable. And whether it's the priests or bishops or politicians, Congress people, they need to be held accountable. Because I think this country and the church is worth fighting for, I remember when the abuse scandal was kind of like front page news. And to be honest, I knew a perpetrator. And I said, well, you can put 10 of them perpetrators on one side, and I'll take one of my good priests that I know. I'll put him in the other side of that scale, and those other ones will still come up wanting. Because I think one good priest is worth 10 of those bad ones. Now, there shouldn't even be one bad one in there. But the good that a good one does, a good priest does, is also incalculable. You do a lot of good things. You help people. Hopefully you help people grow closer to God. To save their immortal soul, their eternal soul. That's what it's all about. And the other thing I'll say, I'm kind of going a little long on this one, I guess, but I'll say this. Right now, it's almost fashionable to be a victim. Yeah. We got people in Congress that have pretty much put their shingle out, and they're professional victims. Well, if that floats your boat, then go be a victim. But you're not going to have a very happy life. Every single person, I believe, has had something or somebody or both who you've gotten the crappy end of the stick. Let's just say it that way. Life has dealt you some pretty bad cards. And the people that I admire, the people that I look up to, the people that I want to be like, they're not like these folks. No, sir. They're people who rise above. They don't even see themselves as being victims. They're victors. They're people that make a difference. They show others that you don't have to be a part of the mob. You don't have to be a part of the lemmings, the people that are just blindly going along. You can think for yourself. You can stand up for yourself. And yeah, so what? So maybe some people do attack you and come against you. You don't have to let that get to you. You can rise above even that. They don't wear victimhood on their sleeves. Nope, you're not going to see that there. You might see some scars, might see some black eyes. That's because they're fighters and they're victorious. That's the kind of person I want to be. We all have our stories. I could tell you mine. Over the years, I've shared some stories that aren't pleasant, that aren't fun. But, I didn't say, oh, I'm a poor victim. I need to pour myself another drink. I could have done that. And in fact, one time I did. I guess I did do that. Woe me, pour me another drink. Well, living in a bottle is just no way to live. Living on Oxycontin and Vicodin and whatever drug of the week you're doing doesn't work. It won't work. I don't know. Actually, I won't even go into Vicodin story. I never really got addicted to it because it just, I'll tell you what, some of those drugs, they're designed the way they are. And thank God they're designed the way they are, because when you're in real pain, they really work. But once that pain kind of, tapers off and you could take an Advil for it or an aspirin or whatever, those things are a recipe for failure. They're a recipe for nightmares. So good luck, Been there, done that. Fortunately, for some reason, I couldn't abuse Vicodin for very long. I think I did it like a day, and I got so violently sick I was done with that. I flushed the rest of them down the toilet and never touched them again. And the other one I hate to say is I abused was codeine. Codeine was I have I have problems with bronchitis quite a bit, and so codeine in the beginning when I first started taking it, years ago, it was a miracle. Oh man, I felt great. Felt like my lungs were drying out, and I felt like I could breathe again, and I could sleep, and it was like, oh man, happy juice, because I got the cough syrup stuff. Yeah, started abusing that, Now it wasn't going down to the 5th Street and midnight yelling, hey, babe, psst, psst, over here, got some codeine for you, No, but I got a doctor to pretty much give me a couple of extra prescriptions, which I did abuse. And fortunately, they kind of caught on. They said, this is your second round, and this is like, we just gave you this one yesterday, and you're coming back again today? Doctor thinks that this, he's not going to refill it. Okay, sorry, have a nice day. And I was like, oh, I need it. Well, yeah, I needed it because I was abusing it. But once I got through the withdrawals, and it was horrible withdrawals with codeine for me. No, that's a wicked drug. So I don't take codeine anymore. That's why 15 years ago with my last codeine abuse, But yeah, unfortunately, those things, they hit those pleasure receptors in the back of your old brain there, and man, life's good for a while, but then it turns on you. It's like following this cute little fluffy puppy, thinking it's so cute and adorable, and it is for a while, until it turns around and it turns into this werewolf and just devours you. That's what it is. That's what those things are like. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we are not going down the totalitarian slope, that we can save this country, we can save the church, we can save society, so people can live in freedom. Because this country is the best and last place that people can live their life the way they choose. Even if other people disagree with that, or people don't give you a pat on the back and give you a, yeah, way to go, or say, yeah, sorry, I don't see it. No, I don't agree with you. Sorry. That's what makes this country great, is we can disagree. We can agree to disagree. So, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Keep them respectful. And maybe we'll have a little chat about that. So, until we meet again, dear pipe pals, as I like to say, light up your world, light up your pipe. Thanks for watching now. We'll see you next time.
I'm a Pensbury School District resident, Pensbury School District taxpayer. I'm also a former member of the Governing Board of Directors, 2009 to 2013. It's nice to see the old faces. I'm here to speak today. I believe, Gary, you said it was item KKK in the agenda book. Well, isn't that just a perfect summation of what it is I'm here to talk about? KKK, your proposed new school board policy, seeking once again to limit the constitutionally protected speech of American citizens. Now, when I sat on this school board, I believe some of you old-timers might remember this. A union guy spoke at public comment for 5 minutes and ripped me a new one. He called me the bastard child of Margaret Thatcher. And I sat there and I said to myself, okay, fair enough. Welcome to America. He considers me a bastard because I'm in the government. His logic is sound. Now, what happened was the superintendent and the school solicitor at the time freaked out and they didn't put the tape online the next day. And I called them up and I said, get the tape online now before we get sued for censorship. I yelled at the solicitor and I asked him what law school he went to, because it was clearly constitutionally protected rhetorical hyperbole. I can cite the case if you'd like. And I said to Paul Long, the superintendent at the time, don't ever cut the tape again, Paul. And by the way, bastard child of Margaret Thatcher, I took it as a compliment. Now, you snowflakes apparently have a bigger problem with public comment. It seems to me that you think you can supersede the United States Constitution. Well, I've got news for you, School Board President Benito Mussolini. Your power does not supersede that of the U.S. Constitution and the First Amendment rights of the citizens of this great nation. Let's be very, very clear who has the power.
Mr.
It is not government policy. Do not warn me or do not interrupt my time.
That if you
interrupt my
make
time,
personal insults like that again, or if you personally direct your comments, you will be asked to step away from the podium.
I'm going to quote to you, Solicitor.
Make your comments, but do not do name calling like you just did.
This is my comment, not your comment. I'm quoting to you now from the United States Supreme Court 1964 case, New York Times versus Sullivan. This is constitutional case law in this country, and I'm quoting you from the U.S. Supreme Court. The judges wrote that this nation is founded on the, quote, profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues shall be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. That's constitutional case law in this nation. I don't have to be nice to you. Nobody behind me has to be nice to you. If you don't like living in the United States of America, then you can all move to Russia, Cuba, or China. This is the First Amendment. And I will caution you, Solicitor. There is a video camera to my left. If you edit this tape, then you're going to have a big legal problem on your hands, because my right to critique your fascism, which is what this is constitutionally protected. There are emails, public record emails, in which the Director of Equity is lobbying and advocating for public comment to be censored in this school district. And you know what? Lobbying for it, advocating for it. We've got the school board president saying she'll do better at hitting the mute button in blatant violation of the Constitution. For her lobbying and her advocacy of unconstitutional censorship, I want you, the school board, to terminate the employment of Dr. Charissa Gibson with immediate effect. And after you've terminated her employment, I want all of you to tender your resignations for hating on this country. We have a God-given constitutional right to critique you, and we can speak in any lawful tone that we see fit. And don't go looking around, Benito, because this is the United States of America. You have a good... one more thing. I'm going to make a verbal request right now for an unedited copy of the tape. So if any of you delete it, you're going to have a big legal problem. Good night.